today, I wanted to speak to you about what we all know is coming up very soon, and that is the election. This time around, the choice couldn't be starker, and it couldn't be more important for those of us who are unionists, who are unionized public sector employees. I want to give you a couple of very basic and simple reasons why our national union, the American Federation of Teachers, our state affiliate, the New York State United Teachers, have both united behind Kamala Harris to be the next president of the United States. We in UUP support that decision, and here's why. The administration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris has been the most pro-union, pro-worker administration in the modern history of the United States. Not just, the important things like showing up and walking on a picket line, joining striking workers, which both the president and the vice president have done. It was also in the passage of important legislation, like the infrastructure bill, which has brought hundreds of millions of dollars into the states to repair bridges, to repair roads, to modernize the facility and infrastructure of our country. Also, the Inflation Reduction Act, turning America towards green energy sources while also maintaining those traditional energy sources at such a production level that right now the United States is the largest producer and exporter of oil in the world, while at the same time massively increasing wind power, solar power to transition us away from those sources of energy that make the climate crisis worse. And then there's the CHIPS Act, bringing us in fully into the 21st century, modernizing America's technology. This is the forward-looking work that has been done and that Kamala Harris is committed to going forward on. They have both made clear they support unions, they support the right to unionize, to collectively bargain, and supporting public sector workers as public servants. We know from his first term in office that Donald Trump is no friend of unions and no friends of workers. He never was able to get an infrastructure bill passed, despite talking about it for 4 years. There was no massive investment in the American economy. The only major achievement in the first term of Donald Trump was a massive giveaway in a tax cut for the super rich. And he has promised not only to extend that tax cut, making it permanent, he's also talked about expanding massively his tax cuts for the super rich and also for corporations. That's the kind of giveaway, trickle-down economics that has never worked. It led to the financial crisis in 2008, and then Barack Obama came in, had to clean up that mess, produced a solid economy, which Donald Trump inherited, and then squandered. During the depths of COVID, our economy was weaker than it had been since the Great Depression. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris got us out of that pit of economic disaster. And let's remember that last year of Donald Trump's administration. He was president for 4 years. There was nothing done to protect us from COVID, leading to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people. And perhaps most importantly, we must pay attention to what Donald Trump is saying and what the people who worked closest with him, half of his cabinet, his vice president the first time around, military leaders who work closely with him. They have publicly come out and said they will not vote for him. They see him as dangerous to the American democracy, going so far as General Milley, the chair of the Joint Chiefs, saying to Bob Woodward that Donald Trump is a fascist and the most dangerous person in the country. That's as staggering an indictment that I've ever heard about a candidate for president, coming from someone who worked side by side with President Trump. This is a union of educators, of researchers, of healers. We depend on the facts. We pursue the facts. We pursue the truth. It's important to understand that what Kamala Harris is proposing going forward will make our economy stronger, will defend unions, will defend those of us who work in the public sector, and she's pro-education. Donald Trump wants to get rid of the Department of Education, wants to get rid of all the support that we need to do the work we do. I don't have to go into the particulars, but I invite you to consider this. Throughout the history of the United States, every president but one accepted the results of the election and moved on. And that was Donald Trump in 2020. Do we really want to hand power back to this man without the guardrails, without the folks who limited what he could do last time and who are now publicly saying we cannot return him to power? Donald Trump should not be president again with the unbelievable power that the Supreme Court has now granted to the president. We need to have someone who's going to turn the page and bring us to a better future for all of us who are unionists, who are workers, who are educators, who believe in the future. That's what this election is all about. This union, United University Professions, not just because we are part of AFT and the AFL-CIO and NYSUT, but on its own, the leadership of this union supports Kamala Harris. And we will do everything we can to support her because we feel so strongly about our needs, our rights as unionists, as public employees, as men, as women, as siblings within this union. We need a president who is with us in our struggles, and that's Kamala Harris. Thank you, and don't forget to vote.